Hello everyone, I'm Storm Tracker AT meteorologist Austin Haskins. We fell just short of hitting 90 degrees in Eau Claire for the first time this year yesterday, but either way, it was still hot, it was still steamy, had a couple of showers and storms in the late morning hours and also in the afternoon across parts of Taylor and Clark counties. But for the most part, a lot of us ended up staying dry for today. Now, we are looking at rain and storm chances to return later today and into tonight and also tomorrow as well. Between roughly after about 4 or 5 o'clock today through midnight tomorrow night into early Friday morning, the coverage looks to be about 50 to 70% with the potential for not only some heavy downpours, but even some strong to severe storms as well. We'll take a look at that here coming up. Also today through Saturday, highs in the 80s to low 90s, except for Thursday because of the cloud cover and rain chances will be a little bit cooler. Also, dew points will be in the mid 60s to low to mid 70s. It'll be highest though today and tomorrow. It will come down a little bit closer to the mid 60s for Friday and Saturday. So it's a little bit better heading into the weekend. And we're still going to deal with the hazy skies through at least Thursday. There are signs, and you'll see this here coming up, that we may get it to kind of clear out of the area as we head into Friday. And then next week, we are looking at a pattern shift in the forecast with some cooler temperatures returning, a break from those dew points, and also some rain chances early in the week. So looking at the temperatures, dew points, it feels like temperature forecast for today. And again, we're going to be starting off the day in the 60s to near 70. By noon, we're already into the mid 80s with dew points in the low 70s, making it feel like the upper 80s and low 90s. The heat index will likely peak between about 93 and 99 to 100 degrees this afternoon. Now, that's just below advisory threshold, but can't totally rule out the possibility of maybe a heat advisory being issued for at least a short time today. So just something to kind of monitor. But one way or another, whether we get under a heat advisory or not, it is still going to be very hot across the area. So please keep those heat safety tips in mind that we talk about each and every summer, and I'll show them to you right here. So again, be sure to stay hydrated. Drinking water is the best thing to do, but don't be drinking it very quickly. Just do slow and steady intakes, or basically just kind of sipping on some water. Try to drink before you feel thirsty and avoid those caffeinated, alcoholic, and sugary beverages that'll actually cause dehydration. Stay cool with an air-conditioned environment if possible. If not, try to stay in the shade with some airflow or some fans. Avoid overworking for the hottest parts during the hottest parts of the day. I know a lot of people do work outdoors, but try to take breaks during the kind of the hotter parts of the day, which is generally about 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. roughly, and then recharge yourself. Just an hour of air-conditioned environment at maybe a store, public building, wherever that might be. That will allow your body's cooling system to kind of, recharge itself and get a bit of a break. You could go to a pool, you could take a cool shower or a bath as well. So again, just kind of a reminder with those heat safety tips, as we'll see those heat index values well into the 90s today, maybe even approaching triple digits. Now, we will deal with a lot of sunshine for today. I don't expect any showers or storms during the day today. But as I mentioned, after about 4 or 5 o'clock, so really most of the day should be dry. Even though this run of Futurecast is not showing it, this is just one solution. But there will be a complex of storms coming out of the Dakotas and Minnesota this later today, pushing to the east. Now, the latest runs of Futurecast have pushed this back by a few hours. So instead of it looking to be more so late afternoon, it's now indicating more towards the evening hours and even after sunset tonight. So there's still some discrepancy a little bit on the timing of that. Also, the forecast is for this line to weaken as it moves in. But there's also question marks on even the location of it as well because of the placement of any storms that'll be in the Dakotas and western Minnesota this morning into early this afternoon. That could play a big role in where this kind of wave of storms for later tonight will set up, and of course the timing as well. So there's still a lot of question marks on how that'll play out. And then into tomorrow, as the main area low pressure passes through, we'll have some off and on scattered showers and storms around through about the evening hours. Then once we get past really sunset, even past midnight, we'll quiet things down, and that is going to lead to a sunny day heading into Friday. So, Storm Prediction Center right now has a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather in place for the entire area. That's that area in green. You notice the level 2 risk does come up to roughly about areas west of Cambridge, Minnesota, to about the Twin Cities down to Rochester. And even in southwest Minnesota, southeast South Dakota, there's a level 3 risk there. Now, there is a possibility that that slight risk could very well be nudged farther to the east, that yellow area. Not a guarantee, but that's something, of course, what I talked about earlier, that any storms in the Dakotas and Minnesota that develop early in the day, that could play a role in maybe where the strongest storms could develop this afternoon and into tonight. But the way things stand right now, that's where we're at. And the hazards for today, mostly going to be damaging winds up to about 70 miles per hour. We could have some hail up to quarter to ping pong ball size. The tornado threat is basically close to zero, but again, not completely zero. We really don't have the ingredients necessary for any rotating storms, but still can't totally rule it out. And then tomorrow we have a level 1 out of 5 risk for our southeastern areas from Durand, Eau Claire, and Stanley, south and east. Hazards for that. A brief spin-up tornado can't be ruled out, and maybe some small hail up to about nickel size and winds up to about 60 to 65 miles per hour. So some active weather in the forecast in the short term, so be sure to stay with us for the latest updates on that. Then very quickly, still looking at a lot of that thick haze and smoke from those wildfires out to the west through the day today and into tonight. But as that system passes through, look what happens behind it as we head into tomorrow. That we're going to see a lot of that get kind of pushed off to the east, and we start to go back down into those lower side of the scale there. But nonetheless, we'll still deal with that haze around with minimal impacts at the surface through at least tomorrow night. We should see hopefully some improvement heading into the weekend. So temperatures across the area today, upper 80s, but I think a lot of us are going to reach that 90-degree mark. And if we do in Eau Claire, that would be the first time this year. I'm looking at a high temperature of 91 degrees. For tonight, mid to upper 60s to near 70 for those lows with showers and storms around. Now with the cloud cover and the rain chances around tomorrow, it's going to be cooler. Highs only in the lower 80s with upper 70s northeast. But again, it's going to be rather steamy, so it's going to feel more like the low to mid 80s. And then by Friday, we jump right back up into the upper 80s and low 90s. And we'll be close to 90 again on Saturday. But look what happens the back half of that extended forecast. We drop back to 83 Sunday and upper 70s next week with some chances for showers and storms returning. And even beyond the extended forecast, it's looking like we have a chance of seeing some below average temperatures, and this runs from August 7th through August 13th.